Well, now we check in with both a former Penn State women's volleyball player and a Penn State men's volleyball player. Joining us from their home in Italy, Kendall Russell and Aaron Russell, formerly Kendall Pierce, as some of you may know her. Guys, thanks for being with us. How are you holding up over there?
We're doing all right. Some people thought we were a little bit crazy to stay in Italy during this whole pandemic, but we're doing fine. We're staying healthy, and we're trying to stay positive through everything.
Yeah, what's it been like to be abroad during everything going on right now across the globe?
It's been weird. We told our families it's almost like seeing the future, just because we're a couple weeks ahead. So it's been nice to give friends and family a little bit of a warning, just what the next month might look like. But yeah, we'll know more come Friday when our original lockdown ban is supposed to be lifted. But
well, appreciate the time so much. And one thing I wanted to start by asking you guys, you know, Kendall, you played women's volleyball at Penn State. Aaron, you obviously played men's volleyball at Penn State. And both your families have ties to Penn State volleyball as well. Is this the Russell and the Pierces? Are they the families of Penn State volleyball?
I guess you could say that. It would be quite an honor because there is a lot of tradition in both men's and women's volleyball. So, yeah, if you were to say that, we feel pretty special.
Now, I know both of your dads actually played together. Is that something you knew when you guys first got together?
no.
No, I actually, after I first started dating her, I called my dad to tell him I have a girlfriend.
I called my dad.
Yeah, and he said, I told him, oh, her name's Kendall Pierce. And he said, okay, Pierce, why does that sound familiar? Is there any relation to Robert Pierce? And I was like, yeah, that's her dad. And he's like, oh man, I played with him back. He was the crazy freshman back when I was the old senior. So it's pretty interesting how that kind of came full circle for them.
And as you guys start to move further and further away from your time here in Happy Valley, isn't it funny the connections that continue to be maintained to so many Penn State volleyball alums across the world? I know Kendall, Megan Courtney, and Micah Hancock are right in town as well. And for Aaron, playing on Team USA, so many Penn State players, Matt Anderson, Max Holt, that you continue to stay connected with.
What makes it even crazier is Deja McClendon was playing in the same town as us on the women's team in Trento. So to be able to reconnect with her has been another awesome relationship through Penn State volleyball.
Yeah, and it's interesting. A lot of times we'll just turn on the TV, see if any sports are on, and there'll be women's volleyball here in Italy. And we'll see Micah, Haley Washington, we'll see Megan. So it's cool to see a lot of familiar faces like that. But it is an honor, too, to be able to play with Max and Matt, who I when I first started playing volleyball in high school, I watched them a lot. And it was pretty cool to, be alongside of them now and to be able to learn a lot from them, not just from watching them, but also to be on the same team as them,
We've obviously seen here in the United States the growth of volleyball on both the men's and the women's side. How large is volleyball, just from your perspective, across the globe, maybe more so than even in the United States?
Huge.
Yeah.
It's really celebrated here in Italy, which is really neat. Every time the gym is full, people know his name. I go in the grocery store and can buy like pasta with his face on it. It's cool.
Yeah. It is cool to see how it's growing. It is cool to see how big volleyball is across the world. But I think that the next step for American volleyball is kind of the growth and even the exception that volleyball is a men's sport, is a boys' sport. Because I know when I was younger and I was playing volleyball, a lot of people would see a tall guy walking alongside them and say, "Dang, man, you're tall. How tall are you?" I'd tell them how tall I was, and then they'd say, "Oh, you play basketball?" I'd say, "No." And I'd say, "I play volleyball." And they'd be like, "Man, isn't that a girl sport?" I'd be like, "Yeah, but guys play too, that's a waste of height, So I think it's a good opportunity for young, tall boys to be able to play that and even just accept it to be an acceptable sport for boys to play.
Kendall, are you helping him dig and pass during this time?
No, he's got that all down. I'm enjoying being his number one fan, watching the best volleyball in the world. It's been really fun.
For the both of you, where has been your favorite spot across the globe where volleyball has been able to take you?
For me, I think would probably be Iran. That is a place where not many Americans during this time have been able to go, and I think that I for sure never would have been there if it wasn't for volleyball. And it is a very cool place, very different, and it was definitely a great opportunity and really interesting for me to go and experience that part of the world.
Aaron, what will you do now that the Olympics have been pushed back to 2021 and try to make sure that yourself and Team USA is prepared to have a great run in Tokyo?
I think just kind of treat it like how I was treating it a year ago. You know I have one more year to prepare, and so I got to just make sure I stay in the right mindset and continue to push myself to be ready for that moment.
What do you miss most about Happy Valley?
The sticky buns, the creamery ice cream.
I never thought I'd miss it, but I miss the long walks through campus. Those are the hikes, the mile hikes to class. I really miss that.
Well, guys, it was really cool to catch up with both of you. Stay safe over there, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.